The difference between us is that I can feel pain.
Sounds like a real boogeyman watching Freddy's coming for you.
Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy.
There's someone else in the hotel with us. There's a crazy woman in one of the rooms.
It's got a death curse.
This isn't science. It's more like black magic.
Their specimen has been processed, and we are now ready to begin the test proper.
Hello, my Night Owl friends, and welcome to another edition of Pumpkinhillradio. I'm your host, Travis Wormwood, and got your other host, Dawson Trailer, over here with me, as always.
Checking in,
and welcome. October begins. This is going to be released on the 1st of October, Dawson,
fuck yeah.
So, I believe the second
what a
episode,
good September, eh?
Yeah, it was good and fast, and I'm hoping to really live this October out for a while, though.
Yeah.
You know, September was a nice landing pad for October. Now that we're here, I want to sit in
September flew by.
Really did.
What the fuck?
It really did. I think the second episode of the podcast was called October Begins, so here we go again. October Begins again.
2.
Yeah, part 2.
Nice.
2024. Welcome to the Cult of the Star Mother. That is what you're in now. By listening, you're in it. You can join further grades of the cult by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/pumpkinhillradio. Tell your friends about us for sure. You can rate us. That really helps out. And email any suggestions or stories into pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. Every week we go over esoteric topics, paranormal shenanigans. We get into that weird.
All that shit.
The deepest,
the weirder the better.
Yeah. Send in your weirdest stuff. It's not your grandma's paranormal podcast.
We almost have it figured out.
Depending
what's going
on. We almost have it all figured out.
Next episode, we might have it figured out.
Unless you have a very cool grandma.
Yeah, there's some cool grandmas out
Tell her
there.
about us. Maybe,
Yeah.
We'll
get her on the pod.
We'll get her on the pod. Yeah.
We'll get her on, yeah.
Fuck grandma's favorite podcast, actually.
Yeah.
That might be the new branding of it. Pumpkinhill Radio, your grandma's favorite podcast.
Yeah, I bet it did. Probably.
Well,
grandmas love us.
Every week, we do also go over something called Horror This Week, which you guessed it is Horror This Week.
Yeah.
I got a little bit here and there, and then also go ahead and use the chapter headings in the description to jump around. We have a part 2 on the ghost stories coming up, and we also we're going to be doing a lot of listener replies. We had probably 70 comments to go over that are all pertaining to do ghosts exist and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have some rebuttals, some high fives, people that are vibing with us.
Yeah.
So if you're here for the listeners' stories, stick around for everything. But if you're just itching to hear your username get shouted out, then you know where to find it. It's in the chapters.
Yeah.
But come on back to hear
you
the
have to
whole
listen
thing.
to us list them all off.
Yeah.
Which probably isn't the first one we said, but
yeah. And then I guess also just I guess this is Horror This Week, basically. In 6 days, that'll be October 6th. Pumpkinhill Radio is going to have a booth at the Creeptorium event. That's outside of the Poodle Poodle in South Denver area. If you know, you know. Come say hi. Come say what's up. If you say anything about hearing about it here first, I'll give you like a sticker or something nice. You know.
Yeah.
Love to see
something
you.
cool.
I'm
we'll be friends for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to paper the town with whatever I got with my prints, I guess, and everything else. I got lots of stuff. Dawson, October begins. Oh man, are you feeling it out there?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The leaves are changing.
About a block down, there's heavy construction going on.
Oh man, yeah, tar
fumes.
The tar fumes on my way here were
very horror. It's like
we're intoxicating.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, I got in here and I was like, I need some dubby. Yeah. I need like something to kickstart me. Cause I'm just yawning. I feel fucked up.
w.gg/ code StarMother for 10% off. We're drinking it right now to get us hyped up.
Rock on. It's helping me. It's helping me. I got sedated by the tar fumes.
Yeah. Just a little peek behind the curtain. Every
nice
time that you're hearing the intro play, if you imagine the podcast, we're usually shouting at full volume into the mics.
Just shivering.
And got up and ran in place.
Some jumping jacks, calisthenics real quick.
We really
got the blood flowing.
Yeah, we want to bring the hype to you. So
so
when
you listen to the pod, when you listen to that intro, get hyped with us.
It's always recording. I just cut it out. It just hits all the peaks on the volume. And it's just crazy, but
save those cuts and just throw a compilation on the Patreon.
It'd be good, yeah.
Just freaking out.
It's for the monsters out there that want to hear us freak.
Dude, I went up in the mountains the other day. Leaves are changing. It's nice, man. Gold, just gold leaves.
Yeah, up in it. Well, yeah, specifically right on the foothills. I feel like there's tons of those gold leaf.
They're so good.
What are those, like aspens or something?
Yeah, aspens are changing. It's magical.
Yeah. Have you watched anything weird lately?
I mean, we just watched that Birch.
You're right. You know what we did? We did a really nice thing this time. Instead of going right into the podcast booth,
we
sat out in the living room,
watched quick 4, almost 5 minute long little creepy little short.
I'll probably put the link somewhere in the description so you can watch
it's really good. Check it out.
It's a whole YouTube channel.
TV.
Crypt TV. It's a whole YouTube channel with little shorts of.
Shouts out to that.
Spooky, very well made. Yeah, 4 to 5 minute videos. It was nice.
Really
and
nice.
Dawson showed it to me because it was all about Birch. And a few weeks ago, we went over Birch. Our Ouija board is made out of Birch. There's definitely some spiritual.
We had a whole
Birch thing
segment.
So it's cool to see.
Yeah, it made me think. I was like, damn, we should check that out. It was cool. It was pretty nice.
Thanks for show a little bit of show and tell from you. That was nice.
Yeah, I don't usually come with something.
Yeah, that was nice. The day before, it kind of got me loosened up for it.
Ugh.
Last night, Maya and I watched a movie called Lisa Frankenstein. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Amazon Prime, Lisa Frankenstein.
Not Lisa Simpson.
No,
Nice.
Bart. No, Bart.
No Bart. Bart Frankenstein.
Yeah. It's like set in the 80s, got 80s vibes. Kind of feels like almost like a Stranger Things thing. But it's not. It's I don't know. It was just funny. It was cute and quirky.
Nice.
Put it on like with a lady maybe. There's like some slight around, but not even. You can watch it with a whole room of dudes.
Yeah, be good.
I'd have a great time.
Probably
it was
nice.
just like really quirky humor, and Maya said that Lisa reminded her of me, and I feel like that was
nice.
Kind of a compliment, but also she's just like such a weirdo in the movie. So
yeah.
That's something I watched that I
nice
and light. I'm not always looking for the scariest thing. I just want something that's like
just like the spooky theme.
Mm-hmm.
Give me that Halloween monster theme.
Yes. Speaking of that,
that's what I like usually.
Yeah. We got I had more apples and caramel apples. We bought instead of buying a caramel apple, I just bought a whole bag of apples and a whole thing of caramel.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's better.
The caramel has like pumpkin puree.
Economic.
The caramel has pumpkin puree like mixed into it.
That's
I'm
good.
really excited about that. I might have already said it on the pod. I'm just so excited about it every time I dig into it.
So
I didn't even think it was pumpkin spice at first. I just grabbed it because I was like, all right, here we go. We get home. I tried it. I'm like, what is this? And I'm like, first I'm like a little afraid because I don't like when it's just like a flavor syrup poured in. Yeah. I don't want this artificial stuff. And when I went back in the back, it was just spices and pumpkin puree.
That's nice.
Yeah, I dug into
it. That was my one gripe about the magic of the jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes. Which
they threw a sour apple in my apple cider. And I'm still upset about that.
I'm going tonight, and I'm going to make sure.
You gotta
I'm gonna put my hand up and say no, ma'am,
no syrup on that. Can I get with just syrup. Straight up normal? I heard it's not good.
I heard it's not good from.
Not good for me.
Told me it's not good.
It's not good for me.
Take it in a shot glass. I'll make you drink.
Yeah. Yeah.
Damn. I'm excited to go.
Get it, try it, and be like, what is this?
Dawson, don't tell me if I wasted my $3, but I did do an add-on for some like 3D glasses.
Oh, nice. I didn't get those.
Would come in played.
You're probably gonna have a good time with that.
Yeah, I did say.
It's a good show. It's gonna be a good show.
Yeah,
I definitely didn't get it, but.
And then beforehand, so we're gonna go there at a really nice 9 p.m.
That's a good time.
Actually, Maya and I have been showing up the past few years at about 10:30, last call. And we're actually like the last people walking through it. They'll be like, they'll start turning. I think you were with us one year or something. Yeah. They like started turning off the lights by the time we like passed them.
Last year was like, we're done. Yeah, it's
extra creepy, honestly. Yeah, but I'm kind of excited to just go there nice and earlier in the year. So I still don't think it'd be. I don't know. It'll just be.
It's nice.
The weather's right for it.
Oh yeah, it's not gonna be like super cold.
The best way to kick. It's gonna probably. I'm gonna try to make it more of an October 1st tradition or like something right in the middle, I can get it even. Yeah.
It's a good October thing. I think when I think October, I think more pumpkins. September's a little more like apple like leaves starting to turn colors. October is like full orange red pumpkin. Orange red leaves, pumpkins.
I can't wait. They're there.
Brown.
Pumpkins are brown. Everywhere. They're outside of the King Supers. My car's been out of commission, so I haven't been able to drive. I've been getting good at skateboarding though.
There you go.
Skating everywhere, but I haven't been able to bring home. I got a few pumpkins around, but I want to start carving them early, often. I need
to get into some pumpkin carving.
I
gotta do that for sure.
Yeah, dude.
love a good pumpkin carve.
Yeah. And then before that, before the pumpkin thing we're going to tonight, we're going to see the movie Speak No Evil.
Yeah, okay, I've heard of this.
That's the one Maya won me the shirt for.
Yeah, I think Heath at the Kava Bar went and saw it, and he's like, you guys got to go see that.
That's good?
Yeah,
cool.
so he liked it. I'm like, all right,
I like that from a source I can rely on.
That's like the Alexa kind of.
I actually don't know. I'm pretty sure that one's called AI. Alan.
Oh yeah, Alan or something.
No, it's like it's like a girl's name, I think, but with AI in it. Or I don't really know. No, Speak No Evil, I don't really know what it is. I think it's like a weird family that you just meet, and they're just weird.
Oh, hell yeah.
This one's the one with Xavier.
Yeah.
Professor X.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So,
yeah, I don't know. I can't keep anything right.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Any more horror this week? That's kind of, I got, I mean, I'm going to try to be,
it for me.
Yeah, keep an eye on our socials. Keep an eye on the Patreon for exclusive content, especially like, we do it all the time, but this month I'm just going to be posting extra hard on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Just for the listener to be wary. If you want to get into the spirit, this is the place
Check
to
it
do
out.
it. Yeah.
It's the time of year.
Do you want to talk about? I have some ghost stories. I know that you had some stories that you just said maybe you could just remember off the top of your head.
Yeah, there's somebody that's been told by people.
Do you think
that we know?
All right.
I got some of like my own. I don't know.
We can leave it off with one more like that.
Why don't you? Well, yeah, I guess I don't know. Why don't you go first? It's gonna
I'll warm it up.
It's gonna like spark more ideas because there's gonna be like similarities between these stories. Yeah. It's really hard to like get some of these ideas out of my brain.
Okay, so just like last week, we're doing more ghost stories for the kind of the season, which is usually not something we touch on like verbatim. Usually, it's kind of a theory that's bounced around with like something else high strange related that we dig into. But I tried to find ones that were kind of up.
I like the ghost stories, man.
We all like ghost stories, especially
so bizarre.
Why not? But I did try to find some that were kind of like relating to things that we've talked about in the past, or just So this first one, if you go back and listen to our Colorado Festival of Horror interview, the COFO interview series with Tom McLaughlin, he talks about he has like a good conversation piece about, and so go back and listen to it. But also, I will explain it right now. Is that he was stating that, among other things, he says that he was actually thinking there isn't ghosts or anything like that. There's just energy.
Yeah.
And that can just stay in places, which then I think could also premonition into ghosts. It's just, it's
like whatever you want to call it. Yeah. I mean, because when you say ghost, it brings like an image.
Yeah.
Of like the like, the like sheet.
But he was,
monster,
one of his things that he does is that every year he goes to his crypt in the Hollywood Hills that he bought. He bought a crypt for himself early, and he goes and has a party there. And every year they go there. They don't talk about death or anything. They just talk about, I don't know, they just talk about probably good shit, And he just tries to he's talking about storing positive energy there, basically, and making it someplace that when you go there later in life, after he's gone, it will give you a certain energy. Maybe you'd hear his harmonica. That's what he was saying, stuff like that, which I think is cool as hell. I really liked that idea. So this is a story I found, which seems kind of like the opposite of that.
Okay, sweet. Hell yeah.
This is the ghost of the Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh, Scotland. Oh. All right, and this particular ghost hangs out in a black mausoleum, which is metal as hell.
Yeah, very cool.
But let me tell you about it. This is a ghost that they actually think they know the person what it would come from, which is kind of interesting. This is it's known for the Mackenzie poltergeist. The Greyfriars. God, it's some England it's in Scotland. Yeah, the Greyfriars Kirkyard is they're known for the Mackenzie poltergeist. This is believed to be the spirit of Sir George Mackenzie, a 17th century lawyer responsible for persecuting the Covenanters. Covenanters, excuse me, a group of Scottish Presbyterians.
Okay,
and
persecuted him.
Yeah, so I feel like he has a lot of blood on his hand or lawful. He's a lawyer, so maybe he was
putting people away.
He's getting
people executed.
A lot of particular and bad and strange type energy around him, just being around. Or I don't know. It sounds like he's attacking. I didn't look too much into the Scottish Presbyterians, but it sounds like just a different religious group.
Yeah, they're always back in those times.
It's they would lay down even in these times a lot,
Yeah.
But here's the thing: his black mausoleum was his tomb was disturbed in 1998, so pretty recently. last 25, 30 years. And
bad
basically
idea.
since then, so it was good until then, and then since then, visitors report being scratched, bruised, and there's a few different reports of people straight up fainting outside of it, which sounds like an extreme like energy pull, something like that.
Yeah,
We're talking about another thing Tom McLaughlin was talking about is that his first movie he ever made was about an energy vampire. We went into how we thought those were also real, actually real. So
super real.
As far as like, I think even in death, this would be a sort of an energy siphon type scenario, kind of. There's also more than fucking 500 documented incidents here, right? Like of these unexplained physical attacks. So this is like, that's why I wanted to.
Yeah, we gotta go there.
I know this would be a great stop for us on our world travels. When y'all start paying for us to go there.
Yeah.
But we'll go there maybe on our own dime.
Why don't you hit the Patreon?
Dude, that's like, because I did want to find something. This is like physical attacks. These are like people, like marks are being left.
Unexplained.
There's
scratches.
Like things. It's not just like a sighting. I wanted to find something more tangible. There's a paranormal investigator went there, and they captured some photos. They found some recordings. There was a recording of I think they just heard the thing say fucking like get out.
Yeah.
And they just like recorded that straight up. Let's see. Yeah, so a few years after the mausoleum was disturbed, though, I don't really know how it was disturbed either specifically. I'm sure it was just fucked with. Because ever since
you exhume something.
There's actually so many visitors that they had to now put like a lot. Like in recent years, they put like a full lock on it, and like because the disturbances kept on happening. I think both on the visitor end and the ghost end. It's just like to cut it all out, right?
Yeah.
So a few years after the initial disturbance, this is where somebody actually fucking. So here I'll read it here. A man was found unconscious near the mausoleum.
Oof.
This was in 98 or 99. This is 1 year later. He had no prior health issues, also though, which is just weird. And he couldn't remember what happened. He also woke up with unexplained bruises, which is like, I don't know, maybe he just like collapsed and bruised the fuck out of himself, like when he was falling. But like,
those would be explainable though.
Yeah, you'd be able.
There's like bruises you can explain from like falling, and there's bruises that are like, what is that?
And yeah, speaking of the bruises, it didn't say specifically what the bruises were, but there are a lot of reports of like hand marks and things like that, and like actual like that, a few years after that, a tourist from Australia claimed that she said that she felt a sudden cold chill and then a sharp pain on her back, and then when she lifted her shirt, her friend saw a fresh scratch mark.
Yeah,
just like
it's like a theme. It's like a theme. I've like heard that in other stories.
Which like it's like okay, she did it to herself or her friend did it. It's like I don't know. I'm just here to say yes to it.
I think
I'm not gonna like.
Well, I was doing a little bit of like research, just like looking into like, ghost stories that happened on like set of like horror movies and stuff, and like The Conjuring, like the main lady in The Conjuring. Can't remember her name, but like she was having shit like that happen where she'd like wake up in the middle of the night and just have like a scratch, like 3 claw mark scratch, and that's like the monster in The Conjuring has like the 3 claw. It's like a thing,
Well, I know when we were talking about that,
shit like that, I'm
like because we were originally going to try to fit some of these into the other episode with the horror movie thing to like kind of draw some connections there. But yeah, just like movies and cinema and like these like quote unquote fake things, like even on accident using real curses are like
like it comes from real shit, like especially like you like look into like some of these like sigils and like just like I don't know, these like real demons they're like evoking basically. It's like damn.
There's like a voodoo
gotta be a little careful
god
with that
in Chucky they keep on saying, and
like,
and like the rest of the words are kind of mumbo jumbo like fake voodoo stuff. And I know in the recent ones they changed it because that was like not cool. That was like cultural appropriation and shit. But it's like, exactly. Like they're using it in this crazy way.
They're like, and it's beyond even just like cultural appropriation. It's like, like you're doing things. I don't think you realize like, what you're actually doing right now.
I think that,
you're like summoning demons in people's living rooms when they watch
monsters.
Like, that's not good.
Yeah,
careful with that. It's like, oh shit.
What else was there? There was one. What was the specific one? Do you know that they were using like? There was one that they were actually just using. Like some group came in and told them to just straight up stop.
Yeah, it was like I forget what the show was. It was like honestly, I don't think it was like a huge show, but it was like some like teen witch show.
All the better,
thing.
Yeah,
it was like not that big of a deal, but it was like big enough. It's on all like the streaming. It's probably on like Netflix or something. But it was like some like teen witch thing. I don't think it was like Sabrina or something, but it was like something kind of like that. I have to like look. I have to find that because
like if it was like not a well produced show or like a low budget, then it's like, well, maybe even more so they just had to actually go to some like occult shop to find like an item.
No, like they didn't like do the research that well. Like
just, yeah.
They just like found the first thing they could find, and it was like,
here be demons.
Careful.
Yeah,
try to like make something that's not real.
Fuck.
But yeah, or they they like did the research really well, and they're like, this is authentic.
Yeah.
This is like the real shit.
This is gonna look good in the shot.
People are gonna. This is really gonna scare people.
Look good. Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
No, you're just practicing a real curse.
You're like practicing actual black magic.
To everybody's TVs.
Yeah.
It's like you're creating.
You're possessing people. Like
greater consciousness of these attacks.
Getting people haunting. Yeah. Just haunting people basically. Like,
you're releasing a localized disturbance onto a worldwide view.
Yeah. Like I don't know.
At some point, there's something to think about.
There's something, there's something to that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So we're still at the Mausoleum, Mackenzie, the Mackenzie Phantom or whatever. What do they call it? The Mackenzie Poltergeist. So in the year 2000, so this is still this all happened, and all these ones happened within like 2 years, right? And still stuff happens today. People still hear whispers, they'll hear footsteps, eerie sounds.
Yeah.
They'll see shadow figures and apparitions. Like often, and they see like moving between like tombs or like just standing behind like a tombstone. It's like haunting, which would be scary as fuck.
No thanks.
But so in the year 2000, a group of school children on a tour reported seeing a shadow figure, moving between tombstones. Several of them felt nauseous, and one girl fainted.
Yeah.
So another chick. So that's like a second time that it was like
something.
Boom, fucking. As the teacher reported, feeling icy hand grip on her arm that left a red mark.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, think about this. It's a group of school children possibly offering that like unique. We always talk about like being younger. You're like closer to that like pool of souls from before you were even born. You're still kind of like you don't have the God out of your eyes.
More fresh,
Yeah.
Much easier to scare children than an adult.
Even on that level, just being able to summon it up. I just also feel like when you're a kid, like I feel like I remember debating somebody about unicorns being real. I don't even know what side I was on, but I remember it was like pretty real, like not recently, but when I was like in like some grade of elementary school and being like we don't know
years old.
shit.
Yeah.
Like
you're open to like anything.
Exactly. So and maybe that's easier to poke through then. Like
it's a purer energy almost. I'm imagining.
Exactly. Like, and maybe that other dude that got siphoned out was like, I don't know why he's in the graveyard alone. Like, is he visiting someone or just doing a weird thing? Is he like trying to connect to something?
Exactly.
Like, just as far as why somebody else that wasn't a child wouldn't have fainted. Like, is he somehow more open to it then? That's what I think of though. Like, there's literally a whole group. I
imagine everyone has like certain tendencies,
I'm sure, like there's talk of like just like collective consciousness and stuff. You bring a group of school children into this like graveyard, they're obviously all already thinking it's spooky shit. But if there's a disturbance literally 2 years beforehand where someone is fainting, there's already been stuff. There's already been reports of people getting scratched and stuff. And then it all happens on the same day. Like that's just something kind of intense, right? There's a night watchman at the cemetery, which also I just wrote down here, sweet ass job.
Yeah,
it's like a very like hardcore job. Maybe not like sweet in that way, but like I think I would.
You're gonna probably witness some shit.
I'd be so scared the whole time, but I feel like I'd appreciate having it for a little while. Yeah, the night watchman saw a ghostly figure in old-fashioned clothes near Mackenzie's tomb. He also described a tall man, right? Like a tall man with like a creepy face, like a stern, kind of disturbing face. But then, like when the night watchman started approaching the tall man, the figure just fucking vanished. So
yeah, that's terrible.
And then here's the thing, though: the fucking watchman found scratch marks on the door of the mausoleum as well.
Yeah,
just like
that's fucked.
Yeah, so it's like this one's a scratcher. Thanks. This guy's a scratcher.
Yeah, that's some like.
So that's in. So just again for the people listening, or if you're trying to visit, that one is. That one's in Greyfriars Kirkyard in Edinburgh, Scotland. All right, and that's Mackenzie's poltergeist. Go ahead and visit him, because also when you go to that particular graveyard, you're gonna get a bonus spirit, and this is gonna also segue into my second story, if you don't mind me just browsing through them here.
Yeah, let's get into these.
Because here's the little bonus spirit that's hanging out with Mackenzie. It's called the Grey Friar's Bobby.
Oh,
right?
yeah, okay.
The Bobby is a loyal dog.
Yeah.
And we love ghost animals.
Ghost dogs, man.
Ghost dog, right? This one guards his mat. Here's the deal. He was a real dog.
Yeah,
like a living dog who actually guarded someone's grave for 14 years. He pulled like a Futurama.
Yeah.
And just like waited forever. And then the dog died in the cemetery too. And now people say that they see Bobby wandering the grounds.
I wonder if there's like some sort of like
Bobby.
Some sort of like what's under there as far as like minerals and shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's just like a bunch of copper under that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I think a bunch of quartz or something.
There's got to be like a vortex of quartz minerals.
Some sort of, or is it like on a ley line? Might be on a ley line.
Scotland, Edinburgh. I don't know exactly where that is on the map, but I'm sure it's. It's all close to that like Stonehenge shit.
Yeah, all on
within a few degrees. I think
Yeah.
I think you're also just Scotland's got that old history. There's old shit. I think that's what we were talking about. I think they're the ones that had the will-o-wisp story from last time. These things that hide in the woods, or these lights that you see is when you're traveling at night and you walk off the path. You think it's like a house or somebody like on a
fire torch.
Yeah, just something, and then you get lost. And some of them people they found like skeletons of people buried in the swamp. In like deep swamps, and they just think, and they like the best idea is that they were trying to like they were just walking into the woods. Like, why did they find these things there? It's like these things have been going on for fucking ever.
You gotta wonder if there's like, because you hear stories of like, things like calling out people's names or like asking for help, kind of thing like that. Mm-hmm. See a light off in the woods somewhere. You hear like a scream for help,
pulling you in.
Any good person's gonna try to go help out.
Yeah, you're gonna check it out, and then
then all of a sudden you're dead in a swamp.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, can you like how frightening that would be?
Fuck.
With the light, obviously, I would imagine the light kind of disappears once it's got you. So
once you're in too
deep,
you
probably have like no light, or like maybe you have your own torch, but that you fall in, your torch drops into the swamp,
you're
right? It goes out.
Madness.
Your eyes haven't adjusted to the dark completely because of the torch that you did have, so you're just in pure darkness. You're getting swallowed by the swamp. I imagine an ancient creature at this point is coming to devour your soul,
just drain you. What if you go out there and then you faint?
Yeah,
faint in a swamp. You're gonna drown in mud. Who
it's
knows,
like,
man?
There's stories of people going into the woods and just getting really sleepy and just like sleeping under a tree.
Yeah,
and then they just wake up and it's like they're in a different part of the forest.
Yeah,
or they're something's gone, or like
the light in the forest is different. It's dark. You can't find your way out. It gets dark in a forest quick.
Yeah. Especially, it's all over, but you
especially
look at some
old,
like Scotland,
old forests,
places,
dude.
it's like they've just had,
those
some places forests, like they kind of push out mythology as fast as they can. They push out the old ways as fast as they can.
Yeah.
I know, like some places in Scotland, like it's just those are true to words still. People like when they say there's a picture behind the laptop here of a weird creature, like a weird tall shadowy creature kind of peeking through behind like a cave thing, like.
Yeah,
those are just real in the forest.
Like, those things are just walking around.
Yeah.
Well, like what the birch, the birch,
that birch thing we just watched. Yeah,
that's
100%.
Yeah, that's just out there.
Because you say in that movie in that little show we were talking about now, like you could kind of see like a weird creature in the background for a couple frames before it really shows up. It's like like when you're walking, especially at night, and there's just like a sea of trees all around you. Like some of those aren't really trees. Some of those are.
There's things like hiding around, moving around.
Yeah, they're just these.
Just out of sight.
Elementals, I would just call it. Yeah, these elementals.
Just out of your awareness, but it's there.
Yeah, you can feel them. There's a reason, and that's the same way.
I've been in forests so many times at that like twilight dusk.
Yeah,
and you're just you're like walking, and you're like look around, you stop, look around, you're like I'm running now.
Yeah,
I have to run.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times.
I'm gone.
Like, I'm running.
Gone.
Like I gotta get to the truck. Like I gotta go. Like gotta get. My dad's waiting for me over here. I gotta get there now.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Like so many times, especially like. This time of year, like when I used to like go bow hunting and stuff. Oh man, the forest gets dark quick, dude. It's like you see the sun starting to like go down. You're like, all right, and you're like up in a tree, and then you're it's a little more light up there. You get down to the bottom. Oh man, by the time you get down there, you're like, it's so
below
dark.
the canopy.
It's way darker than I thought.
Fuck.
Everything's blending.
That's-
The shadows
yeah, that's
are like
very
blending in. Everything's like
It's
gray.
very frightening, for sure, dude.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh, that's a squirrel. That's definitely just a squirrel running around in the forest. It's not the trees. It's not anything else.
They talk
It's
about
not the shadows.
those old woods. They just house old thing.
Oh yeah, man. Up on
And
the
it's like
bluffs
some
and
of those
stuff,
old
dude.
things become either cryptids or folklore or just old things old myths nobody believes in anymore. But
it's just scary stories.
there are things that are watching.
They're there, yeah, man. They're still out
and
there
like calling you.
Oh yeah, they're like, but it's that it's like the void when you like look into like a pit.
Oh, you stare into the void. The void.
Something about it, like you almost fall into it. You know, it's like, damn.
There you go.
Something, yeah. It's like, oh,
Like,
I
I'm
have to
actually
go
ready
in
to
there.
do- Like, actually, for some reason,
You
the
gotta
thought
jump
of
off.
complete like despair and letting go into like just decomposition right now does sound
It's
fine.
like hypnotizing almost.
For some reason, I'm ready for the mushrooms to eat me.
Yeah. I'm ready to
Yeah,
just
I don't know why
become
I'm
the
fe-
forest.
Yeah.
Ready to just become part of this energy out here.
Mm-hmm. So, okay, yeah, we talked
Sweet.
about the graveyard. We talked about the little dog that's now walking around, which
Mhm.
reminded me actually a little bit of, we were talking last pod about, and I'm sorry for listeners, last pod the mic cut out like halfway through and it got kind of fucked, but I did my best to edit it through. But near the end we talked about yokai, these Japanese spirits, and a specific one that is this little fox spirit. For a while we kind of talked about that guy, and I am just like, it does make me think of, I don't know, how different would like that little fox spirit be to like this little this gray fairies Bobby little dog ghost, like
Little guardian animals.
Yeah, little like watchers, little things that are.
Oh yeah.
And we can get into more of that later because here's kind of a second grouping of stories for you, Doss. These ones are all about black dog.
Yeah.
And this is kind of now we're dipping into the more of the high strangeness stuff. We talked about black dogs in the past. They're these creatures that bend reality, kind of bend your thoughts, and generally are omens of death. So here's one called the Black Shuck of England. We're kind of hanging out in these old times right now. These old locations. This is a ghostly black dog that is said to roam the countryside of East Anglia. It's usually described as having glowing red eyes. Also, I think we've discussed that before. There's
Common.
So starting off way back in 1577 in Bungay, Suffolk. Kind of said that with like, probably didn't say that right. Bungay, Suffolk. This must be in England somewhere. The Black Shuck reported there's reports of it straight up bursting into a church during a storm and killing 2 people.
Oh,
right?
Shit.
Here's the thing, though. This kind of reminds me of the last one. It left scorch marks on the door.
Yeah.
If you go to this church today, there's still scorch marks there.
Yeah, it's just still there.
Mm-hmm. It's fucking a little bit weird, huh? This is apparently the Black Shuck, and this is where it's like, is it more than one? Is it just an entity? Is it a grouping of entities that are all there? Is it? I don't know. You can get really weird with it. Is it the same one poking through time at different points, poking
right?
We talk about displacement so much. Is it just constantly in multiple locations?
Is there like a portal there that comes in and out?
Yeah, because it's also found. It's found along the coastal regions of East Anglia, including Norfolk, Suffolk, and Essex. All right. Some say it only, and some. Here's one thing I maybe I've seen it before. Some say it has one eye, only one eye, and then it's depicted as being in the center of its forehead, which is like, this is a freaky weird thing. Then, as we've also talked about, its size varies from just a normal dog to the size of like a horse. Because here's the other side of this thing is sleep paralysis, entities, and demons. I'm kind of and I'm mixing this all in with ghosts because for me they're kind of.
It's almost the same.
At least right now, I'm trying to parse out the differences, if anything. I'm trying to like talk myself through how these could be different, if anything at all. Because there are stories of black. We've done
the
whole
shadow
episodes
figures.
Of,
I'm like
shadow figures, black dogs appearing at the foot of your bed, or like, and they're not always like, they don't just look like a little like golden retriever or like a little fucking Yorkie or something standing like this
something
all black.
Sinister.
It's like something weird, kind of amorphous. Like maybe only has one eye.
You get like chills when
it's
you
just
see
the
it.
idea of a dog, just like how some shadow figures are just the idea of people. Like it's not.
It's like
it's just taking its.
It's a shadow, but it's like that's not just a shadow.
And
like it's like 3D there.
Yeah,
as a shadow.
Yes, and okay, so it's often also it can literally be seen like anywhere. It's often found near old ruins and lonely roads and shit. But it even is seen in towns and cities. You know, it's all over. I've seen reports of it, like the scene. People walking through somebody like in the middle of the street with like lamps, and the lamps are like going out as it's coming near it and shit. You know?
Which is like reminds me of like a sleep paralysis kind of a thing.
There's often the encounters the dog. Yeah, it'll appear and then vanish suddenly. We also talk about some reports where it seems to either rapidly age as it comes towards you or rapidly grow. Yeah, you know what? Remember, there's like reports of footsteps even being found afterwards that are like. They're like growing in size. It reminds me of the Alien movie where it's like they're growing in size and then like disappears like that. And then we take it to the point if we're talking like weird with it, then it's like is it growing in size? Is it rapidly aging?
Is it gaining power?
Is it gaining power? Like if it's rapidly aging, is it like from a different series of is it like from a different point where time just does go that fast, or is just like not congruent?
Does it like peak through in like a tiny and it slowly grows bigger? Like I don't you know.
I don't know. It's something to think about if you're seeing this shit. Like at the foot of your bed, it's just sitting there, just like waiting, growling. Some people also report him as like cats, little cats. Yeah. You'll also hear shadow cats. Like at that.
I mean, I'm sure that's where like black cats being bad luck comes from.
Oh yeah, I could
just
see
a
that.
Shadow cat.
I could see that. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
there's something
that's shadow figure cat. And then if it's
like
a bad omen, it's like you probably had something bad would probably happen to you. Like
you're right.
Somebody you know died. You know, like.
I like that.
Shit, I don't know, man. I'm just trying to tie things together here.
Yeah. We got 2 black cats laying right over here next to us.
Those aren't bad luck cats. Those are just some sweet babies.
They're good. Let's see. So this is a different one real close to it, but I also am going to tie it in with the black shuck. This one's called, what is it? The Barghest. Yeah. Barghest. It's in northern England, particularly Yorkshire. The Barghest is a huge black dog that appears to foretell death. Yeah. All right. It's often described as having large glowing eyes. And then here's what we can talk about for a second: is that it's also maybe sometimes considered a shapeshifter. Yeah. And this is okay. So I kind of wrote a little. Just like this digs into something that we kind of talk about, where we'll look at different cultures. Like we were looking at like Japan. Yeah, and like North American, like Native American Native Americans and like I heard somebody say American Indian recently, and I'm like, I haven't heard that term in a while.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it's like we're looking at these cultures that are from vast like time differences and spaces that never interacted, or at least none that we know of, and it's like
similar things,
almost similar little like similar magic.
Yeah,
like similar magic, similar like
same energy.
Things.
Like if it's all energy, it's a similar energy.
So
it's like sinister, just like
this is a shapeshifter thing over in England. Maybe this weird dog thing. We also talked about werewolves and shit. They're all over, and like then we talk about this story we were told of someone's grandma turning into like a fox, and I feel like we talk about it a lot, but it ties into stuff, and that's like it's this idea of like. Yeah, sacred magic or like void entity magic. There's like void to sacred, there's white to dark stuff. Like, it's almost like there's like certain curses are like magic, like incantations or something that like are out there, and then whether you're using it on this like sacred side or this like void side, it like has different like effects. You know? You're using it in the white magic way, and you turn into like this little white fox that can. Go great distances, but then maybe like on the void side, you like use the same thing and you turn into this like black dog or this werewolf thing where you're like a cannibalistic, like a Wendigo.
You're like feeding off, even if it's not like you're not really eating the flesh. It's like you're eating the energy force, the life force. Well, which I like.
How do you feel about all that? Yeah.
Well, because the way I think of it too is like these like shadow figures always seem like, because like a shadow is like it's like blocking out light. You know, that's what makes a shadow. It like blocks the light, and like that's kind of what it's like how it seems these things are, but it almost seems like it's not just blocking out the light. It's just like it's like sucking it in, almost like a black hole.
Yeah,
almost.
It's like taking it and and like using it.
Like
in
it fuses it almost,
or whatever that would be.
And then like if we're like if we have plasmic souls, that's like a light. It's gonna emit a light. Like maybe that's what's like going. It like feeds off that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's certain brain activity needs to happen for it to like get that energy. And then the light ones like emit light, so you're gonna like feel like healed or something off of that, you know? Shit, I don't know.
I love it.
That's just an idea that I thought of.
No, yeah.
I
mean,
know.
that's what it's kind of what we're working with. And then, like, right now, we're really, like, we're getting pretty out there as far as, like, for the listeners, we sometimes get into, like, weird sciencey stuff. Sometimes we also just dig into straight up magic. And, like,
I love it all. I don't think they're too far off from each other.
No, they're not. Like,
just how, like, how much imagination you want to throw on
everybody said that witches and werewolves and shit weren't real 40 years ago, except for they were real for the fucking 10,000 years before that.
Human history.
I respect science, and I trust it when it's there, and I don't look at scientific reports and say no. But it's
the more like science advances,
it's all just the same.
It's all proving some of the shit true.
It's all just the same. Like, and we're at
like
least,
there's like alternate universes. There's like dark matter, dark energy.
Yeah, what do you think? That's just
there's light energy. It's like I don't know.
Yeah,
we like can't like even like comprehend it. Like we can't even. Like, you try to get it on, there's, like, videos of these things, too. Like, people get this shit on video and pictures of these, like, shadow figures. It's, like, barely makes any sense.
No, it really doesn't.
But it's, you can't, like, measure it. Because we just, like, it's, like, the absence of, like, all that's, like, light and, like, life, which is all we know, basically.
It's hard to...
It's, like, what our senses are meant to pick up is, like, life and, like,
so
life
all
energy,
all
life
you
force.
Can do is see the void.
And vibration. This thing is, like...
Can even do is just, like...
It's almost like the absence of a vibration, where it's, like...
Yeah.
It just goes black.
Mm-hmm.
It's like darker than dark. It's darker than a shadow. It's like, you know, because that's just like my experience with like sleep paralysis was like, I'm in a dark room. It's coming from like a shadow, but it's like darker than the shadow.
Shadow than that.
It's like darker than
the
dark.
You hear about and especially within sleep. Like
you'll be in a pitch black room and this thing's darker than everything
than
else.
It is standing there.
Yeah,
it always is.
Yeah, and it's like, well, okay. I don't know. Is
that
that what dark matter is?
The woods are for some reason like grim and dark in this area, even though there's not
like a little
anything overhead that would cause that to happen. It's just for some reason. Yeah,
certain shadows. I don't know. You know.
Nice, dude. Yeah, that's nice little rant there. I wrote that little paragraph just like magic shapeshifter stuff because like I did want a ton of dig into it because we often talk about that, and it's like
I think it's all a similar thing.
It almost does, doesn't it? I don't know. It almost does feel like there's like not set rules necessarily. Like there is, but it's like I guess I'm calling it magic, but it's just like I don't know, like I guess quantum science or like whatever this just like, and that's just sort of a weird different buzzword too, you know? Like, it's just this, like these things
unexplainable. Just it's a mystery. I don't know. It's some sort of energetic, just mystery. Phenomena, high strange phenomena.
So I'm kind of I kind of wanted to tie even like black dogs into werewolves and like more void creature, and where I don't even think werewolves would be like necessarily a void creature all the time.
No,
but,
right.
Like you look at
but
this
it's like it's almost like
that's basically a werewolf in a different type of way.
It's like a possession
just like a
of
white magic type thing, or I don't even like the word white, but I don't like the word white magic either.
No,
like really, because that is just weird stuff. I know there's like there's just like there's I have to look at like some of the terms that they use in the old days too, because sometimes they just do call it like white or like just like bad magic or like curse magic. You know, we'll have to get in. But I don't mind just like void as a term just to kind of call.
I like it's because it's not something I've like heard really. It doesn't have like for me. It doesn't have like these like
That's the other part.
I don't have like a prejudice with that phrase of it to describe these things, and that it like makes more sense honestly. Yeah. I don't like think of like some scary movie I heard.
Exactly.
They don't like talk about the void.
You hear about like black magic, and it's like, oh, did I hear that in like
void.
A movie? Or
yeah.
So okay, nice. Well, that's that. We can always dig back into that. DOS.
Yeah. What we got?
I got another story.
Nice. Hell yeah.
And you know, I couldn't stay away from it. We're doing ghost trains again.
Oh hell yeah! All right.
For some reason, I got into ghost trains last week, and I just couldn't stay away.
Ghost train.
I wanted to just talk about more and just other weird shit. I got a couple here, but I'll just focus it on maybe one or two stories. All right, we'll be right back to talk about ghost trains. Thanks for listening to Pumpkin Hill Radio. Stay tuned. All right, Doss, welcome back to Pumpkin Hill Radio.
All right.
And me too. Welcome me back too. And thanks for the welcome. Yeah. We're talking about ghost trains. I couldn't stay away.
Yeah.
Apparently, just because it ties into so much weird shit. I know last time we were talking about like UAP and aliens.
Yeah.
And
ghost
what the hell
vehicles,
is this?
man.
Yeah, it almost becomes like something mimicking. You know, and I got some other ideas here.
Do you remember that time we talked about the like the airships.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
steampunk
yeah.
style
when
airships
people
in
were
the late 1800s and stuff.
People were seeing flying machines in the sky before
They
humans
even
had
knew,
flying machines.
Yeah.
Like
before we even had cars or planes.
they were just
what?
seeing almost like a steampunk kind of thing. Like
that's like how these drawings of these things. It's like what?
They it's some
Maybe that's got something to do with ghost trains. I don't know.
Well, as far as to not just walk over that. Like, let me think on that. Like, if it's a okay, let's put a pin in that. I have some ideas about how that could be.
I don't even know the story yet.
I just have some things about organic smart dust.
Yeah.
Okay. Which
very real.
Well, it was a very old Red Temple thing. So
I
just wanted. I went back to the old Red Temple on top of Pumpkin Hill, and I found the weirdest shit.
Because I recently learned something about it's like synthetic smart dust.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a government program thing, but they also like to take credit for things that they're not actually doing.
And I mean they've been doing that since the 80s, since the 60s.
Yeah, no, 50s, it's like a whole thing. But
and we can dig. Okay, let me tell you this.
Well, let's
story.
get to the real shit.
Because I wanted to talk about ghost trains. Okay, there's something called the Phantom Train of Bostian Bridge. This is in North Carolina, 1891. All right, a train derailed, and when it derailed, it killed over 20 people. Since then, and so this is people that died within the train too. So I don't know where this even lines up with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so since then there have been reports of the ghost train reenacting the crash.
Oh shit!
People see it fully crashing. They hear the sound of the train. They hear the screams, and they see this spectral light, specifically on the anniversary of the accident. So maybe it's somehow if you just checked on it over time enough. So this is where I'm talking rerunning history. Yeah, this happens in a lot of hauntings. You hear about things just recreate. You hear about going to a certain place and hearing the sounds of a specific thing.
I think you called it psychic tattoos.
Yeah, these places on the earth are just
it's energetic imprints that reverberate throughout time.
Yes, and so and if you want to, so this is kind of so that would be one explanation for that. Yeah, great. Thanks for bringing up psychic tattoos, because that is what this is. It's a marking. It's something that pierces through multiple layers of existence that just leaves a mark there. Yeah. That even then would stay there, even possibly as the Earth moves through space, or it stays with our globe, whatever.
Yeah.
That know the ins and outs.
Well, it's like the haunted house thing. I think it can kind of imprint with a certain place.
Yes.
Or
because I'm gonna do a little
materials.
Just quick talk about plasma crystals again. Plasma crystals they're a real thing. You can look up what they are. It sounds like a made up term, like a sciencey sci-fi.
Looks like
thing.
some sci-fi shit.
It's what it is. It's when just a group of sand particles, very small sand particles, get blown through areas of our atmosphere that are highly charged with plasmic energy, and the energy will actually encase the sand, the little dust particle. They don't have to be sand necessarily, but just these tiny particles. Plasma will encase them, and then they become plasma crystals. That's the time. That's the term for them. Plasma crystals have been shown to operate in ways that are similar to the brain. They can create similar pathways. They've been shown to work on. Sorry for the buzzword, but quantum fields. I'm not going to dig into how, but I can post videos or some shit. But that's the basis of a lot of our kind of conversation on plasma and these things. I think that can, since it's also almost like a lightweight. It's just a thing that can be on two different levels at once, many different planes.
Well, it's like a superconductor kind of a thing too. It conducts electricity
and this
transfers
and this
information.
Even brings in in a haunted house, or when people do this research where they're taking pictures and they call them fucking orbs. Not big orbs in the sky like we talk about sometimes, but just the little grains of sand, little dust particles going in front of the camera. So this is my 2 cents on how those can still be real and be a thing, is because I wouldn't say all of them are, but in pictures, if some of those particles are plasma crystals, organic smart dust, basically this thing that can take in information in multiple ways and then relay it, replay it. It's the information could get locked in those. Yeah. And then whether they're just particles are just trapped in the house just based on them having the fucking doors closed, or if it's somehow like a psychic tattoo where the event is just
creates
placed
itself,
so permanently
maybe, yeah.
in this thing.
Like I feel like plasma crystals could be like formed in a train crash.
Yeah,
it happens, right? You know, if it's like
straight up, yeah. Like if there's just like the right conditions, but even just how now you look at some real crazy people and just me that are saying like we're all full of the government smart dust, like whatever, actual smart dust, like what it is, what they started in the 50s, 60s, what they started hiding in the 80s, and what is apparently being still done. Yeah, you know, like what smart dust could do. These things that are 10 times smaller than a grain of sand. These things that can have receptors and radars for every type of analysis in the human body. You could go, you could basically breathe them in, eat them in your food, drink them in your water. It could collect all your information for as long as you're alive, basically, and then it would still be there after you're gone. And that's like, and on the organic side of things, we're talking about plasma crystals. That's almost literally what I would imagine the soul is. Like that's that's kind of where all that comes from. That's like that's what I would.
That's
call
like what my mind goes to.
Like that's the plasmic soul.
Because it's like what after your like organic body goes away, there's like information that stays and like
people
goes somewhere
people
else.
say that all the time. People and it's like that's a real thing. You know, energy can't be destroyed or. I'm not saying like they're saying like that's a real thing. Like it's like there's a reason for that, and like that's one of the ideas as to why is these plasmic crystals. So if you're saying. And when we say fucking smart dust, we're not talking about the government. So I'm talking about this organic shit, this shit that's been around for aeons, the things that, you know, that become...
Something that the planet...
All this. We have
the formation of the planets. It's probably been in space
there.
Since the
It's just a part of our reality, which is why we get these extra layers. That sometimes, you know, that's how we can even interact with this kind of stuff. Because we're, like, mostly also made out of it. But it's maybe people in this train, or even the train itself, like, they're either built of it or like, you know, people in the train, like, with the agony and like the terror of it, that's like something, you know, this like psychic terror.
The high
and also
energy.
just like if everybody's like more than usually, maybe they were all from the same area where there was like a more like of this organics, like these plasma crystals than other places. They're all just naturally more full of them. If they all die in the crash, then like they help to recreate it. Those plasma crystals, then
if it's reason, like happens in the right spot, like a vortex, some energy vortex, like
between that,
on a ley line.
Just the trauma of it, like that locks it in. That puts the pin in it. That's the psychic tattoo of it all. Where then these basically ghosts, if you want to call them ghosts, this ghost train full of ghost passengers is just running it back. Whatever.
It's on a loop.
And then it's like maybe if it only happens on the anniversary, then it's like I guess that's when all the requirements are met, like spatially or whatever that would be.
It might be like the right like anniversary where like the stars and the moon are in the same place as they were when it happened. You know, shit like that. Like really small detail. Like it's not just every year. It's like certain, you know, every 7 years or like every like certain cycle. When the time, like conditions are ready and it just happens.
Again. So
all right.
So that's just like that's a ghost train. That's like tying ghost trains into all our shit now.
I love that shit.
So let me talk about one more ghost train before we go into listener stories. All right.
Yeah.
The St. Louis ghost train in Canada. All right. The St. Louis. This is in Saskatchewan. Right. This thing goes back decades. Witnesses see phantom lights moving along these abandoned railway track.
Yeah.
Right. They some locals think it's the light of a conductor who died during a tragic accident on the tracks.
Okay.
So, the legend says that the conductor was decapitated. Right. And the light might actually be his lantern as he searches for his head. Nice. Kind of a
I like that.
Headless Horseman type shout out right there. Yeah. You know. And I'm wondering, like, you know, is he just carrying around an ember of hellfire from hell? Is he, you know, maybe he couldn't get into hell like old drunk Jack. Story. Maybe he's like out there looking, you know. But that's maybe some of the light. The devil. Just this hellfire light, and it's like embers of fucking hell. You know,
could be.
Just to pop off on that,
could
probably
be possibly.
Is right. It's probably that.
That's a high possibility.
Yeah,
high possibility there.
In 1996, a group of teenagers from St. Louis decided to investigate the ghost train phenomenon. And they went out to the old railway at night. They saw the bright light approaching them from a distance, and they saw it moving along the track. As it got closer, the light actually split up into two lights, and then the group watched as the lights moved toward them and then abruptly just disappeared, like before they actually got hit with it, without a trace, right?
Yeah.
And then the like blowback on that, people were saying there's the claim for like how that's whatever that is. is people were saying that possibly it was a reflection of light from traffic somewhere in the distance.
Yeah.
Right. This has never been able to be recreated, though.
Yeah, it's like,
you know what I mean.
You can say that. You definitely can say that, but it's like what that makes about.
If
as
someone
much
tells you a story about two lights coming at you, I guess you might think it's a car. If you're like,
it must have been a reflection off of something.
Yeah, the reflection off of a highway that isn't there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It makes about as much sense as it's a ghost train to me.
In 1983, in the same place, a local farmer named John Thompson saw the ghost train lights while driving near the old railway tracks late at night. He described seeing a single bright light moving along the tracks initially, and actually thinking it was a train. Then as he got closer, it split into two, and he could see the outline of a train car. Ooh, right?
Okay.
Right? A little more. The light then vanished as he got closer, and then it left John in complete darkness. And he felt a sudden drop in temperature and an eerie silence that lingered long after the light disappeared. Right?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So that's all I got for ghost trains. I just wanted to yell about it for a while.
I like the ghost trains.
Doss, before we close out here, we have some listener replies.
Let's get into it.
We asked the question this week: do you believe in ghosts? All right, we got about 60 replies. I'm gonna read all of them with the usernames or most of them here.
Yeah.
As long as they're not like one word things, I guess.
Yeah.
And then I think we're going to offer our just conversation piece about that, whatever that means. If there's something we need to dispute or if it's just a what's up. All right, Doss. So yeah. So I'm not going to read I'm only going to read ones that are more than one set. So a lot of people here are commenting like yes, or yes, I've had multiple experiences, or no, and no this.
If you did answer yes or no, you give a little explanation.
A little more, because like a lot of people did
elaborate.
A lot of people
please.
did this. Okay,
elaborate on that.
So Irish Guy 52 said, "Nope, there's no good evidence for their existence. There's a lot of weird stories people have, but the best they can say is that I don't know what happened. I don't know doesn't mean I don't. I do know it was a ghost." All right. Okay. Somebody replied to this before we were doing your replies.
Yeah.
Somebody, it's multiple, said this. Nearly always there's a scientific and psychological explanation for hauntings or apparitions or appearances. Brains and nature just love to trick you.
Yeah.
And then Irish Guy replied to them, yes, when you learn how your brain works, that becomes very clear. They're basically hallucination machines. They like to make shit up to fill gaps in memory. Brains are wild. I agree with a lot of that. And like definitely, like that's a good explanation for probably 99% of things. And there's that 1%.
Yeah, I don't know though, like you think evolutionary wise, it's like I don't think your brain is like wired to like think of ghosts. I don't know why that makes sense.
Or like at least like, and if it is like a hallucination machine, excuse me, like what's that for? Is it like if it is built to do this, it's built like that over millions of years. Like that didn't just happen all at once. Like that we must have. Something. It's possible that we saw things even in our most ancient past that would then leave these trace memories, these trace ideas, these things. You know, like there's a reason that would be built in. But there's not like a reason, like it's not, that doesn't, I don't mean like we were made to have this thing, but it's like evolution wouldn't create something that would make us hallucinate this stuff so often that it.
So I get like, your brain is meant to like it's like pattern recognition and all that. And it's like, I get that, but also I think to a point with like the real strange shit, it's like it's like too bizarre.
It's just too fucking bizarre. And really like even a lot of the skeptics we've been talking to, they have this whole like the brain is such a powerful tool, which I definitely agree with. That like essentially that what they beat around the bush of is like that basically manifestation is real. You know, but that's kind of what I get from them. It's like, well, if you believe hard enough though, and it's like, well, yeah, like what do you think that is?
So it is real then.
Yeah.
So you're saying it's real.
So thanks for the reply there anyway.
I don't know, right?
I reply again though. I'll make sure to tag you in this so you know it dropped and we talked about you. Quiet One Tonight said, I don't. I've been in many haunted locations that have never heard an out of place sound. I would like to, but I do not think they are real. Daisy Maver said, yes, I do. And I have many horror stories from my childhood. I also am a death witch now, so I mean, would be weird if I didn't since I communicate with them. Daisy _MOOVR Maver, please reply with what a death witch is and your ideas. I would love to know more about how you practice that. Have some ideas about what it is.
I need to, just give me a description on what that even means.
Please.
I'll look it up, but like I'd love to hear.
Aetherlight.melody said.
That's a good name.
Yeah. That's A-E. Aether.
Aether.
Said, yes, grew up in a haunted house for 5 years, first 5 years of my life. Look up Shadow People. This one's funny. They don't know shit about us. Look up Shadow People. Basically described what I encountered. Sleep paralysis, shit moving on its own, car starting that cops even saw that we called because thought someone was messing with the car. A figure in the corner of the room I could see. I do not have any health issues or disorders that cause hallucinations, nor does anyone in my family. My brother sleepwalked when left that house. Yeah. That ceased immediately. Maybe he's using the brother as like a conduit then. They said continued. Ooh, they're popping up. Yeah. There was also a black mold spot behind the master bedroom bed that no cleaning would completely get rid of. It would always come back. We found out later a domestic violence issue happened years ago and someone was shot dead in the house. We didn't know what this till we moved out. When you run into this type of stuff, you become a believer pretty damn fast.
Yeah. Hey, Aetherlight.
Nice.
We know all about.
We know all about that.
We're all about the shadow people.
I will look up shadow people, but
we'll look more into it. I always look.
I'm
going to
continue to look it up, but believe me, if you didn't listen to the rest of the podcast, we talked about all this already just today.
Yeah, we got into it.
But I do appreciate someone just shouting it out though, making more people know.
Hell yeah,
it's
real shit. Once you see a shadow person, you're like, okay, well,
that's real. Most Wanted Possum says, I'm not quite sure what I believe they are. But I do think that anomalies outside of scientific understanding exist.
Yeah.
I've seen and experienced things that I cannot logically explain, and while I'm not willing to say that these things were ghosts or spirits, I cannot say that it's impossible they were not. We all find out eventually. We will all find out eventually. Just dead when it happens. That's
I like that take. Yeah. That's a really good take, honestly.
Yeah, I mean that is
Most Wanted Possum.
I'm gonna try to come back from the dead and do a quick pod about it.
Yeah. So this is what's going on, guys.
Check out. Yeah, if someone can just set up a microphone and a little altar after I'm done, I'll try to appear and do a little.
Yeah, grab a couple of my possessions.
Yeah, and bring on a good guest. Get a good guest for me too. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe the Death Witch can get that for us.
Meowie Wowie Indie says, absolutely, but probably not as films portray them. Remember, energy, frequency, and vibrations define everything. Quantum physics can break up the physical body versus conscious energy separation that occurs after death of the body. Nice, totally agree. I hope you listen to the whole episode because we go into that shit a lot.
Yep. Nice. This is it's great how much this just relates to everything we ever talked to.
Yeah, and it's great.
And we're all on the same page, guys.
And I'm skipping a lot of people that just gave one sentence answers, but I'm sure that I know that they're all, I'm going to read them in private, but it's people got ideas about this. People want to know. People want to know, understand. So keep on listening, and we'll try to just parse. And
some people are say they don't believe and just are proving it right while they're saying that. So.
They're kind of saying it on themselves.
Yeah, you're just hallucinating. It's well, that's kind of real.
Zer marvels in with periods in between that. So zer.marvel.zin says, I believe in energy and that our reality is a projection of our subconscious minds. I think once somebody passes away, that energy is no longer physical. Their essence is now a part of the fabric of reality where it all came from. People who are sensitive to energy may perceive not non-physical energy, but they can only perceive it as or project it as to what their mind understands it to be. Some might see a projection of what used to be a physical being, a ghost, where others might see lights and shadow. It's your subconscious mind. If your subconscious mind believes in aliens, angels, ghosts, boogeymen, Jesus, God, Santa Claus, or the Grandma Sue is watching over you, then that's what you'll see. If you don't believe in anything, you might just see light. Your perception of non-physical energies will take on the projections because that's what makes sense in your mental matrix. If WandaVision, in WandaVision, the drone turned into a toy helicopter because that's the only form a drone makes sense to be in the Matrix reality. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, okay, sweet. I love that little explanation. We talk about that sometimes. Yeah, basically, I believe that. I have some ins and outs of that where it's a little different, but 100%.
Whatever your cultural belief system is going to be, it's going to project
it's the
onto
tower
it.
stuff.
Even those flying ships,
exactly, which is tower stuff. It's your mind seeing only what you can perceive.
That's Carl Jung's his take on the psychology of paranormal. It's it's the human psyche projecting onto this thing that's happening.
Okay, the Kilted Pineapple says, I absolutely do. The house I grew up in had a prankster ghost. Used to open doors, walk the length of the house, open cupboards, loved to open the fridge, and even poured a bowl of cereal once. Oh, fuck. See, that's cool.
I like that stuff.
But that's interesting as hell, actually. Poured a bowl of cereal? Like I also
That's
just
like
like
whole ass
I
shit.
guess I just like believe that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I just sort of believe that, which is like I'd love to see that evidence, like video, but
I believe it though.
yeah,
I'll take it.
Yeah,
I'll
thank
take it
you.
all as for what it is.
okay.
I'm not gonna
Valley, that's V4LL3YY, said yes, because based on scientific data, there have been multiple occurrences in studies with randomized people of different faiths being tapped into their unconscious, and subconscious and reporting the exact same thing. Lost spirits and ghosts, an afterlife filled with spirits where you have a spirit guide and are led into the spirit world where spirits have a claimed body and you can claim a disabled body for more good karma for your next life. Okay. So that's something interesting. I did not know that we get walked into a room where there's a bunch of people in wheelchairs, and if we pick them, we get bonus points.
Damn.
So damn, all the people in wheelchairs are apparently just trying to get bonus points.
They're just getting their karmic points. I think that's what I'm doing here.
Yeah. I feel like
I'm kind of just doing that.
Definitely, my spirit walked into a guy.
The guy's like, all right, we're gonna go nuts in this one.
Yeah, this guy.
We're gonna go crazy here.
Yeah.
No, I like that take. That's
yeah.
I like the different like scientific takes.
Definitely.
Scientifically, yes, this is happening. Scientifically, no, it's not real. All right.
Okay, I got a few more. I got a lot more, but I'm just gonna read again the ones that are longest here.
Yeah.
The Horror Year says, it's not really belief more than a sense that there's actually something there. 1. Sounds of someone walking down the stairs when no one was there. 2. Electric devices randomly switching on. 3. Motion detection cameras moving to film empty spaces. 4. Footage of a light moving across my landing and passing through a closet door. 5. Repeated sensations of being strangled while in bed. Damn, that dude had some experiences, huh? I guess that was all stuff that he saw or felt.
Yeah.
Damn, the Horror Year. Come on to our pod and tell us about those in more detail.
Getting strangled in bed?
Yeah, that sounds like a...
sounds like a sleep paralysis demon.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Okay, here's a short comment that had a reply, and then I might want to reply to it too. KC669 said, if ghosts are real, then where are all the cavemen ghosts at? Or is there a cutoff date, like 1700s and up? Before we say anything, someone said, cavemen ghosts, laughing face. Though I see your logic, I went on an investigation with a group to a local plantation home, and they were angry that I'd even suggest that there would be a black ghost. Interesting. I guess, as far as the caveman thing, that's kind of where older types of spirits come in. I don't know. This is where I'm not. I don't know exactly if spirits kind of age up or if it's just like you get
they
so
become
ancient.
something else.
Yeah, but it's like this is where you look at elementals, jinn, these, and not even elemental, like not like a straight from Gaia elemental force, but these things that'll be so ancient. This is when we look at things in the Midwest. When we look around the region where the glaciers never flattened it, the driftless zone, these places where the earth and the rocks and just this individual stones in the ground have been sitting there for
just so long,
years,
forever.
Years
literally
uncounted.
Forever.
Yeah, just those kind of places. If just a caveman, if you want to call him that, fucking died there in the Neolithic period, would that still
ancestors.
be? Yeah, like that would. I think at this point, if anything, if it's in a place, it's gotten powerful enough to just pull you in, become like a witch light, become this thing to pull
like
you into the forest,
spirit
like we
of a
talked
forest
about earlier in the thing.
Yeah, it probably. I mean, whole communities are probably like the spirit forest.
Yeah,
or the forest spirit, whatever. Like whatever you wanted to call it. That like shadow in the woods.
Yeah, I believe that it would take on over time. It would take on a different form. It would become something else.
Also, like how could you even tell if it was a caveman ghost or not?
That's what I mean. I think that like it's hard to say like 1700s and up is the cutoff. Like I know what you mean about how some people say you see ghosts and that shit, but it's like I think that at a certain point maybe
I'm sure if you went into like some caves.
Yeah. Also,
you go into certain caves, you're probably gonna like see some like really terrifying ghosts.
Yeah.
And we don't know what cavemen sounded or looked like really. We just have like the bones from them, and it's like it's probably like some monster. It'd be like a monster.
Yeah, exactly. So KC669, thanks for that. I think it is just it'd be an older thing. It's something to think about, but you got to open your mind to like if these spirits and things.
There's
are real,
more than just like
thing.
A ghostly figure in old clothing. Like there's like other things.
Okay, I got this person dumped I got to read this one because they dumped so much. The fanciful fairy, we're almost done here, Dallas. We got to go soon. We got a meeting to get to.
We're almost out of time.
Said,
last one.
I don't know what I believe, but I know what I've gone through. I like to think that it's just a logical explanation. Maybe I'm fooling myself. Maybe my grandmother used to tell a story of a dead aunt popping into her kitchen, checking her watch, and saying, "Oops, I'm early," and vanishing. 2 weeks later, the uncle died. Wow. Was always just a story to me. My parents said that there was a ghost in our first house that didn't like them leaving and stunk the place up with fish in a suitcase. And stunk the place up. Oh God, they put fish in a suitcase, and I don't know, it just smelled bad there.
It's a good prank.
Yeah. Then when I was around 15 or so, I lived in a house with a spiral staircase, mumbling amongst my family that someone who kept calling their name, but no one was there. One night, coming down the stairs, just a few from the bottom, I felt an incredibly strong something push me down the stairs, and I went flying. It scared the shit out of me, but I wasn't hurt. Years later, at my dad's house on vacation, we traveled to the local ghost town, and I purchased a few items, small paper and plastic sacks, dumped it all on the bed, and when I got back and then decided to take a little rest, it was silent. Until it wasn't. I heard crinkling, slow crinkling. I sat up and looked at my packages. One red plastic bag was slowly being opened to reveal the contents. I just sat there and not saying a word and watched. When the bag was fully opened, it stopped. I can't speak for the rest of my family, but I know I was pushed, and I know I saw something was curious. No idea what it was really, though. We have a lot more replies. Thanks for replying, everybody. We couldn't get to them all.
Just do a whole episode of replies on that.
Yeah, we will. But thanks for that. I'll post more stuff to reply to.
Hell yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Shouts out to those people.
Shouts out to those people.
Answers, guys.
Yeah, thanks for that. Okay, we're going to close out here. Dawson, go ahead and rate us 5 stars wherever you can. Tell your friends about us. Send in your requests, your stories, and get our Discord link, pumpkinhillradio@gmail.com. Support our Patreon. We got some new stuff there. Every week, every month, we have new stuff there. It's already worth it, and it'll become more worth it as time goes on.
Probably do some more reply videos on there.
Yeah, definitely. That's patreon.com/pumpkinhillradio. You can follow us everywhere at our Linktree link below. Take a look around the Etsy store for pins, prints, and more. That's pumpkinhillradio.etsy.com, and use code SECRET for 25% off orders of $25 or more. This episode, we drank W at the beginning, and look at us go. We're still here. Dude. It's a long one again. Code StarMother at w.gg for 10% off. It's an energy powder with green coffee. It's pretty nice. Support APOPO. That's an organization that helps disarm landmines in Cambodia and Tanzania using rats. We have adopted a rat named Ronin. He's out there clearing landmines and helping communities grow. Support us by supporting them, or use the link in the channel to support them directly. I think until next time, that's everything.
Yeah, hell
Let's have a fucking spooky October here.
And happy October.
And that's all. See you, folks.
Let's get into it. See you. Bye. Love you.
Damn.